Hello everyone, it's Speaker Lex Luthor, and today we take a look at the Fane Acoustics Ascension F25 guitar speaker. This video differs from my other speaker videos in one small regard, because this is one of 3 speakers that Fane Acoustics provided to me. I'm not getting the speakers for free. Fane Acoustics are getting one video for each speaker for their own social media. So if you want to hear this speaker with some different amps and a different cab, head over to their social media platforms after watching this video to completion to check that out. Other than that, that doesn't mean anything different for you. I'm still using the same approach, and I generally never say one speaker is better than the other. So I think this could be considered a sponsored video in the broader sense. I don't know, I'm an engineer, not a lawyer, but I'd probably tick that box just to be safe. My approach is that the speaker I'm demoing goes into this side of my Marshall 1960 AV cab next to me here, next to a Celestion Vintage 30 and 8 ohms from the U2000. It's a particularly smooth sounding Vintage 30 and one of my favorite speakers, and I think it's a good reference to go by. Both speakers are mic'd up with Shure SM57s. The Celestion Vintage 30 in its sweet spot, which is where the dust cap meets the cone, about here in this cab, and the speaker I'm demoing gets mic'd up in the same position at first. However, if that speaker has a different sweet spot, at least to my ears, I move the mic to that position later in the video. I play a few sloppy riffs through one of my amplifiers, and I switch back and forth between the microphones in quick succession to give you an impression of how the speaker sounds to a reference that people generally know. Everybody knows what a Vintage 30 sounds like. By doing so, I hope to be able to provide you with an apples to apples comparison, as well as show you the speaker I'm demoing from its best side, at least according to my ears. As always, I will be providing you with free IRs for each position I use for the speaker I'm demoing, as well as my reference position for the Celestion Vintage 30, so you can do your own shootouts at home and figure out if the speaker I'm demoing might be for you. I think that's enough talking, and that covers everything. Let's listen to some riffs. Alright, I'm all set up. The F25 has the same sweet spot as the Vintage 30, at least to my ears. Boy, is it a sweet spot. I think we're in for a treat. Let's go. This guitar is tuned to drop C sharp. I'm going to get a guitar tuned to drop C. Just hold on. screw that one up. So what do we think of the Fane F25? I know I said in the beginning of the video that I don't say one speaker is better than the other in these videos. I will say, however, that I like this speaker a lot, and I think it's one of my favorites I've had on the channel so far. And you might say now I'm biased because Fane sent these speakers to me, and that's a fair criticism. However, I did kind of pay for these speakers as well. Fane get their own video for the F25. They got the video for the F25 already, so it's kind of paid for. That was a few hours of work, and it was made clear that I can do with these speakers in my videos whatever I want. I can sell the speakers on, I can make IRs of them, which I did. You can download one free IR for the F25 and the Vintage 30 in the description. If you want to support me or want more IR packs, check out my Patreon. It's only a $5 a month, and you can download IR packs for all the speakers I've demoed on this channel so far. And now I've lost my train of thought because I'm smart. Yeah, so maybe I'm biased, but that doesn't change the fact that I like this speaker a lot. It doesn't sound like a Vintage 30, but it shares a lot of traits with my favorite Vintage 30, particularly in the frequency range between 5 and 6 kilohertz. If you looked at the graphs, you'll notice that the F25 in this video was very close to the graph of the Vintage 30 in that range, which was a range that was very crucial in my Vintage 30 investigation. All the other Vintage 30s from, after 2003 and before the year 2000, they generated higher sound pressure levels in that range, which made these Vintage 30s from the early 2000s sound nice and smooth in comparison. And I don't think I've had a speaker on the channel yet which resembled that year 2000 Vintage 30 as much in that frequency band as this F25. So it doesn't sound like a Vintage 30, it's its own thing. It doesn't sound like a greenback to my ears though either, and I know this is the first time I'm probably mentioning greenbacks in these videos, but Celestion, they kind of define the standard when it comes to speakers. And if I hear 25 watt speaker for rock music, of course I'm going to think greenback. And I think I'll do another shootout on this channel later comparing this F25 to an 8 ohm greenback I have from the year 2003, for which it's probably fair to assume that it is similarly smooth to the Vintage 30s of that era, because the cones came from the same manufacturer as far as I'm aware. Anyway, that's a lot of talking for the end of my videos. How did you like the F25? Again, check out the free IR in the description if you want to support me. Check out my Patreon. And while we're on the topic of Patreon, special thanks to the guys who have already subscribed to my Patreon. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate your support a lot. And if you want to do me one last favor, head over to Fane's social media channels and check out the video I made for them. Because the guys at Fane, they're really nice, they're very dedicated to their craft, and they've been very kind to me. And you'd be doing me a great favor if you share some love with those guys as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.